Let me start you off when you're down 29-0 at halftime, and then you have that comeback, and then you go into the locker room after the game, and you had a second or two to process it. Just what's going through your mind and what was a wild victory for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I call plays, so I'm pretty in the moment throughout the entire game in terms of, adjusting what you're doing schematically, time management, all those things. And then you get into overtime, obviously, and then you set up for the field goal. And I had a pretty good idea he would make it. Josh Carty's an incredible kicker. And then when the ball goes through, I always check for flags first. And then after that, it hits you. It's like, wow, we really pulled this off. And then you allow yourself to celebrate, and you're really happy just watching your players enjoy it so much. And then you embrace a few people. My son Noah was there and gave me a hug, and then go into the locker room, and they want to celebrate. So my message was really quick, and then we kind of had to do some other stuff, some media stuff, but it was fun. It was an incredible experience. One of those games, I told the guys, I've played in a lot of games, I've coached in a lot of games, and they have and will. That is one that we'll remember forever for sure.
Just naturally going into that game, everyone's going to talk about what Coach Prime is building at Colorado, and this is your first year as a head coach at Stanford, and you're trying to build that trust, build those relationships with your players. Not everyone, coach, could be Sonny Dykes and go to a national championship game in year one with the new program. A win like this, does it build a little bit more trust and camaraderie inside the locker room?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things about our guys that I've been really impressed with is their resiliency and their focus from week to week. We had some tough losses that could have went our way. And I was really worried early on, because we just got here in December. So we're learning about our team and our guys. I was really worried about them going in the tank and losing some of their spark. And it just never happened with our guys. So I stopped worried about them, and they were resilient throughout the entire year. They come ready to go at the beginning of the week and really focused, and then compete. So for these guys, I tell them all the time, they're an inspiration to me, how they prepare, how they go about their business. Our scout team guys, they give so much detail and effort. It's really an incredible group of young men. And so really happy that they were able to see, a lot of times you get in those games and you come back and, you fall a little bit short. And so there's, whatever the moral victory, or you're happy that your guys competed. But they got rewarded with a win there, and to finalize it in that way is pretty special.
Being down 29-0 at halftime, as Troy Taylor is here with us, what did you sense from your guys in the locker room at the half, and what was the vibe like when you guys went to the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, disappointed. Everybody's very disappointed, me included. And so talked with we split off offense, defense, talked to our coaches, and my message to the team was everybody thinks it's, like I read Rudyard Kipling's If or something at halftime and did something inspirational. I really didn't. I said, hey, that wasn't very good first half. We're going to see how we compete in the second half. And that was it, really. We went out. They were very focused. There was no bickering. There was no finger pointing. There was nobody yelling, come on, or any of those ridiculous things. They were intent and focused. And then we got to stop early on. Colorado got the ball to start the second half, and they went for it on fourth down. We got to stop, got the ball in a short field, and then we were able to score. So right from the beginning of the second half, we had a little bit of hope, and it all started with our defense, giving us field position, getting off the field quickly.
And it's simple. To have a comeback like that, you need players to be historical. When you're down 29-0, your wide receiver did that. When he scores a 97-yard touchdown, I thought that would be his best play of the game. But then in overtime, I still don't know how he reeled in that catch, Coach. That was insane.
He is, Alec Imanor. He's a really talented kid, and he's young and inexperienced. Hadn't played a ton of football, and we knew he had it in him. Earlier in the game, if you probably remember, Zach, he had a wide open touchdown. He kind of misplayed the ball and didn't come down with it. A lot of guys will go in the tank. He did not. I don't think he caught a ball in the first half. He did all his damage in the second half. And the catch in overtime, I've seen many times guys try and pin the ball in the back of a defender, but it almost always comes out. So we had a great angle. It was right there on our sideline. And I just didn't, the expectation of him being able to hold on to it throughout that was very low. And then I'm like, holy smokes, he hung on to it. So that was an incredible play.
Seeing Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and coaching up against them, just what were the impressions with that lethal combination that's now back together after the unfortunate Travis Hunter injury?
Yeah, I mean, Shedeur, the quarterback, is really talented. I have a lot of respect for him. Really tough, determined. He's great at the end of the games. He just seems to be the same guy. He's really carried them at the end of the games, which you want your quarterback to do. And then, their skill guys they're all good. I mean, Hunter, he's an exceptional player. I know, people were giving him a bad time for the one-on-ones, but he was exceptional at wide receiver. I mean, he really had an incredible game. So they're a talented team. Coach Sanders is doing a great job of getting that city and really the college football world excited. He's brought in some good players and some good coaches, and they're going to be good for a while.
With the future of the Pac-12, we know everyone's leaving right now, and it's a shame to me because I look at the conference, and you guys right now are the best conference in college football this season. Navigating those waters this year, taking over a new spot in the tradition that Stanford has, just how do you kind of reflect on what this has been like with all the uncertainty in college football with the changes?
Yeah, there is a lot of irony that it's probably the best conference in the country this year, and it's the last year. I'm really disappointed. I'm sad that the conference is coming to an end. Now I grew up in California and watched the Pac-10 and then played in it and then became the Pac-12, and a lot of great players, a lot of great teams, a lot of great coaches. Really sad to see it end. And that being said, we're really in the moment. Our schedule is so difficult. Each week, we're pretty focused on the now. We're very grateful that we landed a spot in the ACC. We think it's a great fit. It's a great conference. It's our recruiting blueprint, our footprint up the coast. Our guys a lot of them from California, but most of them on that East Coast, starting up top and going down to Florida. And so for us, we think it's really in our wheelhouse. It's going to be great. We're recruiting really well, and I think it will only get better. The fact that we can promise our guys that we're recruiting out there that they're going to be around the area probably 3 games a year.
How do you reel your team back in after the emotions of a game like that? It's a great thing to have where you get a big signature win, but there's a game next week against another really good team with a good coach in Chip Kelly and top 25 UCLA. And what have you sensed so far early through the week from your players?
Yeah, our guys have been the same. Our message really is the same. A win or a loss is to move on, to enjoy it, but to be mindful. We're grateful it happened, but we're moving on to the next game, and it just so happens it's a really well-coached team and a really good football team. So our mentality doesn't change. Obviously, I think winning gives you a little bit more energy, a little bit more positive energy. But our guys, as I said, is the thing that's impressed me the most is they've been the same guys no matter what's happened. I can count on them coming in and doing their thing and being focused and get excited about competing against a really good UCLA team.
Coach Troy Taylor, I have an idea for you. I don't know what he's doing right now, but I keep on seeing Andrew Luck on the sideline supporting his alma mater. Can we get him on the coaching staff here?
We would love to get him involved as a coach. Andrew is, obviously I admired him from afar. And then once I don't know how much interaction you had with him, but he's one of the humblest, nicest people you'll ever meet. And he's been nothing but supportive. He comes to the game, he's encouraging, he knows all of our players. After the game, he stood outside the locker room and congratulated every one of them that came out.
Awesome.
He is one of the most unique, best people that I've ever been around. And the more we can have him involved in our program, the better.
Last thing I'll ask you, Coach Troy Taylor, after that incredible victory up against Colorado, being down 29-0 at halftime and winning the game in overtime, you've gone up now against Caleb Williams this year, Bo Nix as well, and then you just saw Shedeur Sanders. Who was the toughest quarterback that you guys had to prepare for this season?
Yeah, that's a great question. They're all great, obviously. They're all a little bit different. I would say Caleb is probably the most difficult. I think what separates him from guys that I've seen in the past, he's really difficult to get on the ground. You think of some of the great quarterbacks that have played in the NFL. They're just hard to get on the ground. And part of it is his quickness. He's a lot stronger than you would think. He keeps his eyes downfield. And then when trouble comes, I mean, you better have him boxed in with a couple of people or he's going to get outside. So obviously Notre Dame did I didn't see the game, but I saw they were able to do that. I don't know how they did it, but he's pretty special. But they're all three of those guys, Bo and Shador, obviously have a lot of respect. I think they're all really tough. They're really competitive, and they got a huge skill set. And they, the kid from Washington, and I mean, there's so many great quarterbacks in this conference, which makes it so difficult.
How about your quarterback too? We all talk about all the other quarterbacks in the Pac-12 and how loaded it is from top to bottom. But how about Ashton Daniels? Because he put up nearly 400 yards of passing and 4 touchdowns and didn't throw an interception and led you guys in rushing the other night.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Yeah, he played really well. He's we've been playing 2 guys, Ash obviously, and then Justin Lamson is another one. So they've been great for us. It's tough. It's the toughest position in sports, and if you're not always protected well, it makes it even more difficult. And we're getting better and are protecting our quarterback. But these guys they've been tenacious and really good, and really happy for Ashton and how he played Friday night at Colorado. He made some big plays, avoided a lot of sacks. And then Justin Lamson had a number of big runs for us. So it's really a team effort, and I love both those guys.
Were you dancing in the locker room after the game?
I'm not. I grew up in the '80s, so break dancing and on a piece of cardboard and all that. I don't think anybody would appreciate it. So
be pretty good for the TikTok account, I'll tell you that.
Right. That is not my goal, but you're right. It would be pretty good on TikTok.